I'm Mike Bradner, and this is Capital Views, and we have with us Brian Rogers, who's the Chancellor of the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and that's also, Brian, it's really the core science campus. And tell us a little bit about, that campus and all that goes on there.
So the University of Alaska Fairbanks, in addition to the Fairbanks campus, includes rural campuses and research sites all over the state. But the Fairbanks campus is where the bulk of the research activity in the University of Alaska system goes on. About 89% of the research done by all of the University of Alaska campuses is done out of the University of Alaska Fairbanks.
So what kind of research
So
is this?
the biggest area is in the natural sciences and the life sciences. So in the natural sciences, you look at the geophysical processes of the world, everything from earthquakes and volcanoes to oceans, and then on the biological side, fisheries to biology.
Way back into the 50s when we were just a territorial.
Yeah, actually the Geophysical Institute was created in 1949 by an act of Congress and is our largest single institute. And they're doing everything from taking down satellite imagery from all of the polar orbiting satellites to running earthquake and volcano monitoring systems, tsunami monitoring systems, a lot of activity around natural hazards, to understanding space physics, the aurora, how does it work, what's going on in the upper atmosphere. It is the single largest part of UAF is in that geophysical arena.
Now tell us about the new ship.
The new ship, so the School of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences actually had an idea for an icebreaker in 1973, and they've been campaigning for a new ship for that 40-year period. It got redesigned in the 90s as an ice-strengthened vessel. It was funded by Congress in the American Recovery Act, and we took delivery and brought it in finally into Alaska last week. It's arrived in Seward, and that's going to be its home port. The ship is designed for Arctic research, so it can go through up to 2.5 feet of young sea ice, designed for Arctic Ocean and the Bering Sea, with wonderful laboratory facilities for both wet work, ocean-based work, and then drier work, understanding, doing the mathematical modeling out of it.
With the Healey, which is also
yes.
a research-based icebreaker.
And the Healey, operated by the Coast Guard, this is actually owned by the National Science Foundation, but we operate it, a 261-foot vessel, a total of $200 million to build it and get it here. We're pretty excited. It's ready to do research now.
And you host a lot of scientists from all over the place.
It holds a crew of about 25 and a crew of about 25 scientists, and that will rotate from time to time. NSF allocates the projects, and we would expect UAF to do 20 to 30% of the work, but other universities from anywhere in the free world essentially able to use this ship.
It sort of really puts the university on the map.
It really does. We used to have a little ship. Now this is, it's really a fantastic one. And the other area that's really been growing, and this is a partnership between UAA and UAF, is in the biomedical research arena. Our Center for Alaska Native Health Research, one of the top native health research institutions anywhere, they brought in $50 million worth of competitive grants and contracts, and are really known at the National Institutes of Health as the best community-based participatory research out there. We're doing work trying to understand diabetes and understand some of the impacts of hibernation, and how might we be able to use what we learn at the cellular level to inform medical care, for example. Really exciting stuff.
Now you have another unique niche, unmanned aircraft.
Yeah, so one of the units of the Geophysical Institute is the Alaska Center for Unmanned Aircraft Systems Integration. We have the largest academic fleet in the world. Our real focus is how do we build systems that we can use unmanned aircraft in new civilian ways, whether it be for things like search and rescue, things like moose population counts, or understanding what's going on in the physical environment, monitoring pipelines.
As a matter of fact, it had a role in getting the fuel to Russian icebreaker.
When the Renda was trying to deliver fuel to Nome, we were flying an unmanned aircraft to tell it where the ice was thinnest using imaging technology at the time. And we're really leading the country as one of 6 test areas to understand how we integrate unmanned aircraft into civilian airspace. And we're pretty excited about what that means and really developing a new industry for Alaska. I don't expect we're going to build them here, but we're going to be the ones that develop them.
You've had a missile site.
Yeah,
Poker Flats.
Poker Flat Rocket Range, and actually that's where the unmanned aircraft started. And we actually have had 5 launches already this year. They're all suborbital into the upper atmosphere to really understand what's going on in the upper atmosphere, the whole area of space physics. And so a variety of pretty interesting research. The Toolik Lake Research Station on the North Slope, one of the best Arctic biological research stations anywhere in the world. We do about 20% of the work there. About 80% is scientists from all over, understanding what's going on in the physical environment as the climate changes.
So that, I mean, really you attract a lot of science participation.
Yes.
From all over the world, and with other sites in the circumpolar theater that we're sort of one of the primary sites around the world.
We are, UAF has the highest number of Arctic publications of any institution in the world, the highest number of citations. We partner with universities and research centers all over the world to try to do the best Arctic-related research that we can. And I think our scientists are way more productive than the average of research institutions. This is competitive proposals. We have to rank above other proposals. And whether we're talking about National Science Foundation, National Institutes of Health, NASA, other agencies, we're doing really well.
Continual endeavor for also the supporting funds.
Yes, that's right. The state essentially has funded some of the core facilities. We've bonded for some of the core facilities. The state provides about $20 million a year in core support, and then we bring in another $100 million a year in competitive contracts.
Brian, we're out of time. I'm Mike Bradner. This is Capital Views, and we've been talking to Brian Rogers, the Chancellor at the University of Alaska.
Thank you.